Happy Wednesday, church. I hope this message finds you doing well, especially on this Holy Week. A very interesting Holy Week, I think, for the church abroad. But on this Holy Week in general, I just hope this message finds you doing well. I hope that you and your family are adjusting to this new abnormal that we're living in. And I hope that you're able to get out, especially yesterday and maybe today, to go on a few walks, soak in this beautiful sunshine that we've been having. Because God is blessing us this week in ways that we cannot even imagine. Have you ever had those moments that leave you just absolutely speechless, breathless? As a man who likes to talk, I'm a huge extrovert. I love talking to people. I had my biggest speechless moment a few months ago, 6 months in fact, in September when my bride walked out into the chapel that we got married in. And I saw her for the first time in her dress. I was speechless. I was breathless. I bawled like a baby, and it was the greatest moment of my life. I was absolutely speechless. Have you ever had a moment like that? I'm sure we can all agree that the disciples had numerous moments like this. I mean, just think about the miracles that Jesus performed. There were so many moments where I can assure you that they were speechless. Peter walking on water that we talked about a few weeks ago, they must have been speechless, right? But there's two moments in the Holy Week that I believe left them more speechless than any other time. The first being the moment that Jesus was hung on the cross. I can imagine how speechless those men were as they dispersed. A few of them ran in fears, a few of them just dispersed. Because if you think about it, they had expected Jesus to walk in and destroy everything. To walk in and to conquer as a man. To conquer the Roman Empire for them. That's what they expected the Messiah to do. But in fact, Jesus got hung on a cross, and I can imagine for many of them, they were sitting there going, they were speechless. What's going on here? But a day that I believe they were probably even more speechless on was a few days later. Whenever they found out that the tomb is empty. Right? In Mark chapter 16, verse 4 through 7, it says, "And looking up, they saw that the tomb had been rolled back. It was very large. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the side, and he was dressed in white. And they were alarmed. But he said to them, 'Do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth. He was crucified, but he has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him, just as I told you.'" I can imagine the disciples being absolutely speechless in this moment when they hear that the tomb is empty. Because when you think about it, the tomb, even though we don't know where it is, it's described here as very large. Even Mary, as she's walking up to it, who will roll the stone away from the entrance for us, because the stone was so large. The stone was rolled away. The tomb was empty. The place where they laid Jesus was barren. Which is great news, but I can imagine how speechless they were, especially the Roman authorities, if you really think about it here, because they couldn't produce a body. There was no way for them to find where Jesus was. Even if they had thought that Jesus had been stolen, there was no way for them to find a body, because there was not one, because he had risen. Do you guys hear that? He had risen. The tomb is empty. It remains empty to this day. How awesome is that for us? They could not produce a body. They could not find Jesus until he appeared to the disciples on that day. These words make me speechless because I know that Christ is risen. I know what that means for me, and I know what that means for you, because he didn't go just to save these men. He didn't go just to save that time. He came to save all of us. He came to conquer sin and death for all of us. How blessed are we for that? I mean, when you look at Peter was a man who denied Christ however many times, but he sees Christ risen. And he walks away a changed man and goes and proclaims Christ so profoundly and so boldly that when he's crucified, he doesn't want to be crucified in the manner that Christ was, because he does not find himself worthy to be crucified in that manner. Guys, this changes everything for us. Christ is risen. The tomb is empty. That changes absolutely everything. Let's pray. Holy God on high, I thank you so much for this day. I thank you for this Holy Week, and I pray over this church, pray over anyone that's watching this message that they would be blessed where they are. They'd be blessed to know that how Christ being risen, Christ walking out of the tomb changes everything for us. God, and what it changes for us, I can't explain. It leaves me speechless, but I am so forever thankful for that. I pray for the upcoming Easter Sunday that even though it's going to be a different Easter Sunday, that God, you are still at the center of it. It doesn't change the fact that Christ walked out of the tomb for us. God, I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for Christ and his sacrifice. We love you. We thank you. In your son's name I pray. Amen. I hope you guys have just a blessed week. And I cannot wait for the time that we are all back together, worshiping together. But until that time, may Christ bless you. May God bless you. And may you have a good Easter.